Naam, wakati ni sasa. Kwa muda mrefu umetupa sikio lako tukujuza na kukuburudisha kutoka Asia, Ulaya, mataifa ya Uarabu, Afrika, Canada, Marekani na dunia kote. Tumetamba kutamba. Sasa Kenya Diaspora Media tunapanua mipaka kukuletea utangazaji na burudani isiyo kifani kwa lugha za Kikuyu, Kiswahili na Kiingereza kwa njia ya utendeti. Ungana nasi kupitia mtandao wa Facebook ama tovuti ya www.kenyadiasporamedia.com ama udownload app kutoka Play Store Kenya Diaspora Media. Pia unaweza piga simu kupitia 205-905-640 kusikiliza. Kenya Diaspora Media, the community pillar.
All right. How is everyone?
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, you can hear me loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
Yeah. And I can hear you. So today we are here at Kenya Diaspora Media. And today I have my two guests. And I'll give them time to introduce themselves. But the reason for coming today is so we can update our viewers on the new immigration changes that have come since the new administration took power, that is Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. So that's why we are here. This is a very important topic that we want all of you to be with us. Let me check, make sure people can hear us before we go on. We are streaming from the KDM website, Kenya Diaspora Media, as well as our Facebook pages. So I hope people are sharing and joining. Let me confirm, guys, if you can hear us loud and clear, let me know. Hannah, I can see you're tuned, and Santana and Michael. Joanne, let me know. Let me know about the audio. I might be hearing just a little bit of feedback. So let us hear. Can you hear the audio? I want confirmation before we go on. Let us know if you can hear all of us, or me, if you can hear me at the moment. I'm the one talking. All right. Tuned, Felista, tuned from Kenya. I want somebody to tell me about audio. Okay, loud and clear. So thank you so much. I was waiting for that confirmation. It's another great day. I'm so excited to be with you all, bringing to you immigration news. It's been a while. We did not have anything new going on, but now this is very big because we've had major changes that we do need to talk about right now, and that's why I came to you with my two guests. And without wasting too much time, let me invite the first guest to introduce herself.
How is everybody? I'm Jamboni. My name is Roselyne Nandwa. I go by Rosa. And I'm talking to you right now from Birmingham, Alabama, Sweet Home, Alabama. I live here, and my husband is Pastor Harrison Nandwa. And most important is that I'm here. Annette King Hammond is my associate, my boss. Let me tell you, she's my boss. I'm now working with her, and she's an immigration specialist. She's a lawyer, an attorney that has fought for a lot of Kenyans. And I personally and my family, some of you might have heard about us. We had some immigration challenges that we were able to overcome, and I have a passion. If you are there and you're hiding because Trump had scared you. You know, the former president was very tough on immigration, and he told you if you didn't need to be here, if you didn't like the way he did stuff, then you could go to your, AH country. So, but we want to thank God that President Biden and his Vice President Kamala Harris really have a passion to help the immigrants, and therefore don't be pessimistic. The night before yesterday, I spoke to one pessimist that told me, you do your research very well. History can tell you, when was an immigration law ever passed here in America? And then he told me, watch me, it's not gonna pass. But I want to tell you, you cannot be a pessimist and be on this forum this afternoon. You got to be optimistic, and not just optimistic, you got to raise your faith and know that when we pray, God hears our prayers. And so I will not talk much. I will invite Annette King Hammond. She will tell you more about herself, and then she will tell you about what is going on. So you stay tuned. And just know that much as we are back here in the South, we travel all over America. Immigration law is federal law, so you don't need to worry and say, oh, how will you help me? And I'm here in Massachusetts. We can come to you and you can come to us virtually, and we will be able to help you where we can. But let's listen to what is happening, what is cooking in the immigration reform. So
Before Annette speaks, thank you very much, Rosa. Again, our listeners, you heard she's one of our own from Birmingham, Alabama. And Rosa, I think I heard you have some connection with the VP of Kenya.
oh yes, I
Could you
do.
mention that one?
For those that are in Kenya, I think right now I've cut my hair, but you might have seen a lot of me on the TV, in the newspapers. I worked as the Deputy Chief of Staff for the current Deputy President, His Excellency Dr. Ruto. I was the Chief of Staff for Mrs. Rachel O'Reilly Ruto. And I was there from 2014 to 2018. I have traveled Kenya, I've traveled all those counties with the women. We have danced, we have empowered the women. The women are economically empowered. We've taught them. So if you want, on the other hand, I can tell you that if you keep chicken, they can bring in more money than cows. So leave the men with the cows and do the chicken. And anyway, if you're there and you're wondering how you could immigrate here, maybe you're a nurse, maybe you've won a green card and you need some help. I've done those kinds of things a lot behind the scenes. So you can always reach out to us. And if you reach out to me, if you can speak English, you can speak Swahili, you can talk to me, and we will take care of you. But yeah, this is your former Chief of Staff. Thank you.
Wow, we're so honored, Rosa. Former Chief of Staff, worked for the current Vice President, the wife, yeah? You worked with the wife,
Yes.
right? Good. Thank you
Yes.
so much. We are so honored to have you. And so we can now welcome is it your associate?
Yes.
Who is Annette King. Welcome
Yes.
so much, Annette. We are honored to have you.
Thank you, Josie. It's really wonderful to be here with both of you, with all of you. Rosa, thank you for organizing this with Josie for me. I am Annette King Hammond. I'm an attorney. My main area of practice is immigration law, and I've been practicing immigration for more than 24 years. I'm from Jamaica, but don't let that deter you, because I believe I'm an honorary Kenyan. I've known Kenyans and been working with them for more than 15 years. So I'll be very, very happy to work with you to bring you some immigration resolution. Now, as you're aware, immigration has been brewing. When President Biden took office, he made a vow that he wanted to make some serious immigration reform. Rosa, you stated earlier that there has not been an immigration reform for quite some time, and that was 1986. a long time ago. Some people were not even born in 1986. Some of the listeners were not even born then. And so that tells you how unimportant immigration has been made in this country. And Biden's saying, we're going to change this. So what is Biden proposing? Well, first of all, let me back up and let you know that immigration is a federal law, and we practice in just about any state in the United States. I currently have clients from California, Florida, Kansas. Some of you are calling from or listening from Missouri. I have clients there as well. I have clients in Boston, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Texas, and Washington. Of course, you know there are a lot of Kenyans in Washington because Washington has been very kind to immigrants in this country. So Biden, let's talk about what he is proposing. And this is a proposal. There is a bill that is sitting on the desk in Congress, in the House as well as in the Senate, that talks about immigration reform. And the main piece of this legislation is to give a path or create a pathway for citizenship for the more than 11 million people who are residing in the United States. And that's a huge thing because, you know, we have had some minor changes over the years, but to give people green cards and put them on their way to citizenship, that's a huge task. And I believe that we should be prayerful. I believe that we should be hopeful and not be pessimistic, and encourage your senators, your House Rep members to pass this bill, because it's not only important to immigrants, but it's also important to the U.S. economy. Now, Biden has said that he would give, this is an 8-year path to citizenship. The first 5 years, you will get lawful prospective immigrant status. It's actually for 6 years, but in the 5th year, you can apply for a green card. So this LPI, lawful prospective immigrant status, is bestowed upon you, or hopefully will be bestowed upon you for 6 years. You will then keep it and apply for an extension if you so desire. If you do not desire to apply for an extension, you can literally apply for a green card after 5 years. Now, what do you actually get? You can apply for a work permit. You can apply for a travel document while the application is pending. Now, the work permit will allow you to get a social security number. Clearly, it will allow you to get a driver's license so people can be licensed drivers. They can get their insurance policies and feel safe on the roads of America. Now, you can also travel with your travel document. You can go back to Kenya. You can go to any country that you have a travel document for, and then know that you will return successfully. You cannot remain out of the country in those travels for more than 180 days for the year. So you can work and you can travel. Now, what you're actually going to get is a card. The card should look somewhat between a work authorization card and a green card, but it's not a green card. It will allow you to then travel. You can use that actual card to travel with, and you can use that actual card to work with. The reason why you're applying for the work authorization and the travel document in advance is so that you'll have something in the interim while the application is being processed. We do not know how long this application period will be. So they're allowing you to get the work authorization and the travel document in the interim. Now, you will be able to work and pay taxes. It's going to be very important that you pay taxes if you are required to pay taxes. So I'd recommend you talk with your accountant to see whether or not you're required to, because I know that if your income is below a certain amount, you're not required to pay taxes. If you're a student, you may not be required to pay taxes. But if you're working a full-time job, chances are you are required. And so immigration will be looking at that before they grant you citizenship. Now, So you keep your LPI. Know that acronym, LPI, Lawful Prospective Immigrant Status. You're going to keep that for 5 years, and then you apply for a green card. Of course, you always have to pay fees and perhaps penalties because you know that's how immigration makes their money. They're a fee-based agency, and their workers get paid based upon the fees that you pay. So if you have to pay some penalties, well, I'm recommending that you not fuss too much because it may be important in getting this bill passed. All right, so you're keeping the green card for 3 years, and then you apply for citizenship. Now, citizenship, again, is the pinnacle, right, in the immigration process. Once you get your citizenship, you can apply for a lot of family members. You can apply for sisters, brothers, and parents. All right, so keep that in mind. So this process will allow you to work, to travel, and eventually to be able to petition for family members. Now, let me tell you some obstacles, right, in this process. You will not be able to get this LPI if you have some criminal convictions. For example, if you have one felony that's an aggravated felony, for sure you won't be able to get the green card. If you or the LPI status. If you have multiple felonies, know that you're not going to be able to get it. If you have 3 misdemeanors, they will not allow you to get the benefit. But you know, if you, some of you may know that with immigration, there are waivers or there are exceptions to every rule. And there's an exception to the felony charge. If you have a felony outside of 10 years, then you can get that waived. If you have 3 misdemeanors and you can waive one of the misdemeanors to bring you back into eligibility status, then you should do that. If you have any misdemeanors within the last 5 years, any of the 3, then you're not going to be able to waive it. In other words, the last misdemeanor must be outside of 5 years. And so if you have 3 and you can get 1 eliminated through a waiver, then it will bring you back into eligibility scope. So that is very important. Now, I am aware, because I've been representing a lot of Kenyans, that there might be DUI issues with some Kenyans. DUIs are generally misdemeanors. They're generally not felonies. So if you have 2 DUIs, you will be able to, or should be able to get LPI status. If you have 3, you must wait for 5 years. That 5 years have passed the last one in order to be able to waive the last DUI. Now, you may say to me, how many months are they going to give us to make these applications? Well, typically they give about a year, right? For you to file these programs. I can tell you that with the Liberian Refugee Fairness Act that was passed in 2019, they gave them until December 2020, but because of the pandemic, they extended it to December 2021. Now we're in the midst of a pandemic, and we may get an extension, but do not wait for an extension. You try to file as quickly as you can. But if you have a felony and you need an extra 6-month period, or if you have 3 DUIs and you need to get some time under your belt so you can apply for the waivers, then you need to talk to an immigration attorney and see how they can, they can schedule then, for lack of a better term, that filing. It's very important for you not to miss out on this opportunity, okay? All right, now, let me tell you something else about other individuals who may have problems. If you have been ordered removed and you came into the United States on or after January 1st, 2021, then they're saying you're not eligible. If you came into the United States before January 1st, 2021, after being removed, then you're eligible. If you are in removal proceedings right now, the courts and the law is in place. Now, again, it is not yet in place, but if the law is in place, the court would have to wait for immigration to decide your LPI application. If you were ordered removed and you never left, and there are a lot of people who were ordered removed and never left, they still qualify for this application. So that's very important for you to know, that not because you're ordered removed, you think, well, geez, this doesn't apply to me. Of course, it does apply to you. If immigration in your application believe your evidence is not enough, they'll give you an opportunity to provide more evidence. We call it RFE, request for evidence. So if there's a request for evidence, while you're going through this process, you give them what they're looking for. Dispositions of criminal convictions, you give them whatever they're asking you for, because if you do not, you will not qualify. They will actually deny you. Now, if they deny you in your LPI application, you have 90 days to make an appeal, and they're not allowed to deport you during the 90 days. So this bill is very friendly. It is basically telling people, we are giving you multiple opportunities for you to qualify. If you enter the United States, and I did mention this earlier, I do apologize, on or before January 1st, 2021, you qualify, provided that you don't have a felony or three misdemeanors. So you enter the United States on or before January 1st, 2021, you've paid all your filing fees, you have presented evidence to them, you have no one major felony, like an aggravated felony conviction, or you don't have 3 misdemeanors, you should qualify. Okay? Now, if there's fraud, so there's fraud in every immigration process. If immigration detects fraud, then they will perhaps do an RFE, request for more evidence, or bring you in for an interview. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're right. Immigration makes mistakes all the time. So if they mistakenly said you committed fraud, you'll have the opportunity to show them that you did not commit fraud. Now, I can also tell you that if the person has been deported from the United States and they're in a foreign country, for example, Kenya, and they were deported in the last 4 years, but they lived in America for more than 3 years, we can find a way to bring them back based upon family unity, humanitarian reasons, or it's in the public's best interest. So if your loved one has been deported and they were here for 3 years and deported not earlier than January 2017, we could find a way to bring them back, provided, of course, they were not deported for drugs or for any major felony convictions. Okay? All right. Now, there are other groups of people that will also benefit from this bill. And if there's a child that entered the United States, or anyone who entered the United States under age 18, and they completed high school, or if they didn't complete high school, they received a GED, and they went on to a 4-year college, a 2-year college, a technical college, or some higher education. And if they're males and they registered for selective service, then they will be able to get a green card. This is a part of this bill. So when I tell you that Biden has really considered all different groups of people, he has really done a masterful job in that. So anybody who came into the country and they didn't qualify for Daca, right? Because DACAs, you'd have to enter under age 16, and you didn't. Like, I have a client from India who came at age, she was under 16, but she came just a few months after DACA was passed. she doesn't qualify for DACA. So she was under 16, under 18, so she qualifies for this other group. So you came in under age 18, you went to high school, even if you didn't graduate, you got your GED and went on to do some sort of higher learning, whether it's a technical college, a community college, and you've completed 2 years, you qualify for a green card under this proposed bill. Okay, so what if you didn't go to college and you enlisted in the military? So if you enlisted in the military, did 2 years in the military, and you got an honorable discharge, then you'll be able to get a green card as well under this program. Now, what
Hey,
about the
Annette,
people who, yes,
before we move on to DACA, I think let us first talk a little bit more exhaustively about the what is it called? The
the
LPI,
LPI,
local
yes,
prospective
immigrants,
immigrants.
yes,
Okay. Let me see. We have so many people listening, and I think I may have a few questions that people have asked. Let me see if I can pass those to you. Give me just one
yes.
second. 1 minute. We are on both on Facebook and YouTube, so continue joining and listening because we all need to hear this. This is a big, big breakthrough. So many of us have been waiting for so long to get a chance to fix our immigration situation, and this is a big break. So we all need to listen and see how we might benefit from this one. Let me ask the question that I see here. What about when you make errors when filing the job application and immigration find out you have checked citizen instead in a job application? It's how when people apply for a job and they ask, "Are you a citizen?" and someone checked, "I am a citizen," and they are not, and they are asking, "Can the application be denied in those grounds?"
Okay, so a false claim of US citizenship is a permanent denial for an immigration benefit in the future. That is the general law, right? Now, we have not seen any changes as far as the LPI is concerned. Even fraudulent marriages, those are in that category too. Commit a fraudulent marriage. You claim to be a US citizen, or you vote in an election. All these things are no-nos, right? I can tell you, Josie, that there's certain jurisdictions that automatically will look at your history. The Missouri, Kansas states, they generally look at your employment record, and they're looking for that I-9 form. Now, if the I-9 form if the box was checked in 2009, then that box was US citizen / US national. 2009 going backward, okay? So 2009, 2008, 2007. And if you check that box, US citizen / US national, the argument that people make successfully is that they meant that they were a US national, not a US citizen. And so you will not be barred if that's what you meant. Now, sometimes, I want you to listen to me carefully, the employers, if you don't complete these applications completely yourself, they will literally take it and check boxes and make markings on that form. So you have to know that you actually did it, okay? So even if you're applying for this LPI and you think, geez, I'm not applying for a green card, so they shouldn't deny me the opportunity. No, they will deny you the opportunity. And I say Missouri and Kansas will check those records very thoroughly. I don't think that other states check it just quite as much, but I can tell you those because I have represented clients in those areas, and it is one of the main things that they do. So if I'm answering your question to your satisfaction, I want to tell you, you have to not just accept a form that you have not been in control of over all of these years. Other people would have looked at the form. Other people could have made markings on the form, right? And if it was before 2009, on or before 2009, that one box covers not only US citizens, but also US nationals. And so immigration then became kind of hip, for lack of a better term, to that defense. And so in 2010, coming forward, they changed that and made it one box, US citizen. So if you check that one box, said US citizen in 10, 11, 12, 13, coming forward, then they're going to say you falsely claim to be a US citizen. Okay?
Okay. Wow, thank you so much. I can tell you, yes, in Missouri they are very tough about it. But do you think someone can move to another state if they know like one state is more strict and like move to somewhere that's gonna be less strict when they do the application? Is that a good
you
move?
know, Josie, my dear, when you started that question, I just glanced over at Rosa, and she's smiling. Well, listen, I think we're all very intelligent people, and we have to protect ourselves and act in our own best interest and make decisions that are going to be good for our application, right? And so I can't answer for someone, but I think they would know what they need to do. Now, we also have to be mindful of fraud, right? I'm telling you this, it's not fraud to say, oh, I didn't do it. If you didn't do it, that's clearly not fraud. But just be mindful that they're looking for fraud, and they're looking for reasons to deny you. Yes, they are. To sit here and say immigration is welcoming you to the US with open arms, I would not be telling you the truth. So getting back to your question, Josie, I think that the person who asked that question know what they must do. Okay?
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. That's a good tip. Someone else, I know some questions were there, they have scrolled and I can't see them. So please, if I missed your question, just post it again. Someone says that the application was done in Kansas and denied there. So they're thinking, is there a chance that it can be appealed in a or is it permanently denied? So let me ask this in a more general way. If someone had applied previously and it was denied, do the new changes give such people any better chance? Can they reapply?
So it depends on the reason for denial, right? If the reason for denial is because you falsely claim to be a US citizen, that's going to follow you for a very long time. I would suggest that you fight that. You fight that allegation as best as you can. Just don't accept it to be so. If it wasn't so, but if Kansas denied you and you moved to my state of Georgia or my state of Alabama, because I have offices in two places, then you can make an application there. And then Atlanta or Montgomery, which is the jurisdiction for Alabama applicants, will look at the application very, very closely. Montgomery is a somewhat of a tough jurisdiction. And I'm sure you've done your research. A lot of you have done your research, and you know the friendlier jurisdictions. So keep that in mind. But yes, they will always go back and look at the reason for denial. It just does not disappear. Okay? If the denial was because you didn't give them enough evidence, then that's okay. You have an opportunity to file under a different category and give them the evidence that they're seeking.
Okay, thank you so much. And again, I continue to acknowledge our viewers both on Facebook and on Skype. There's some, sorry, on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So many people listening to us, and we appreciate you. Someone in YouTube is asking, what's the procedure for a US citizen sponsor a friend or rather invite a friend from any part of the world? I think that's a bit out of our topic today, but if you want to say anything about that, or if that relate relates at all to any of the changes that are coming in with the new
Okay.
with the new changes.
Could you repeat your question for me?
They're asking, what is the procedure for a U.S. citizen to sponsor a friend or invite someone from any part of the world? Like,
Okay, so I understand, Josie. You can always sponsor someone, invite someone. Now, they don't look at you necessarily. It's the person who's coming from abroad. They're going to look at their stability. They're going to look at their how deeply rooted they are in their country. For example, if they have a job, if they have real estate, if they have money in the bank, and maybe if they have someone in the ministry who could vouch for their return, and if they have children, if they have a spouse. So they're looking at that connection to the country and the likelihood that that person will return. Sometimes I wonder why they would reject someone from or deny a visitor visa to someone who is very well rooted in their home country. Sometimes, they just believe that it's a numbers thing. They have not issued enough visas at this particular time, so they may just give it to the next person. So there could be a lot of different considerations given when you're giving or not giving a visa. But it has been my experience that the more rooted you are in your country, the better off you'll have, a better opportunity you'll have in getting a visa to come. And if there is a particular event that is happening, for example, a wedding, and we're not having any mass meetings and togetherness as much because of COVID. So if there's a wedding, if you're taking part in the wedding, if there's a graduation, those are usually good reasons for wanting a visitor visa.
okay. So I'm trying to ask some of these questions more generally. Someone on YouTube is saying, I don't know why I'm listening to American immigration, but knowledge is wisdom I've shared with people in America. Yes, thank you so much, Pia. Your name is Pia, and I can tell you we normally bring these immigration shows, and sometimes we even tell you ways you can come here if you are not here already. So it just depends on the show. So keep coming, but yes, today we are more focused on the changes that have come in since the new immigration, and mostly they are affecting people who are already here. Is that correct? Is there anything for someone who is not already here, Annette?
Okay, yes. So if you were deported, I would say before January 20th, 2017, and not because of a drug conviction or a serious felony, you have connections in this country and you lived here in the United States for more than 3 years, they will allow you to come back in based upon family unity, humanitarian reasons, or if it's in the public's interest. For example, a woman called me from, I want to say she's from Massachusetts, Pennsylvania. She called me from Pennsylvania. There was a young man who was deported, and she would have taken him under her wings had she known the law, that she could have been a guardian to him and he could have gotten a green card through her as a special juvenile. Well, she didn't know that, and he was sent back to Jamaica. Actually, he self-deported. Now, self-deportation is different from being ordered removed. Self-deportation is when you go beyond your I-94 period and you leave without getting any travel document. So he self-deported, and her family liked him, and they want him to come back. And he's about age 21, and so the military is interested in him, and she's interested in having him. And his father was killed, gunned down in Jamaica in his presence. So she would like to bring him back and try to get him through this process. And off the top, he appears to qualify So we would just have to make that application. So anybody who was deported in the last 4 or so years, and it was not a drug conviction or any other serious felony, could try to come back under the Biden reform.
Wow, Annette, I can tell you that one is a big one. So if you know somebody who was deported, before there was no hope at all. So help your friend who was deported and they did not have any hope of ever coming back. This is the break they were waiting for. Let them know this one is big. So thank you so much, Annette, for giving us this information. So unless there's any more question about that, I think we can move on and talk about Daca now.
Okay, so DACA. DACA, also known as Dreamers, Deferred Action of Childhood Arrivals. Those are kids that came into these United States, and they either came in with documents or they came in undocumented, and they were under age 16 in 2007. So when they came in, this law was passed by Obama on June 15th, 2012. And so they had to have been in the United States on or before January 15th, 2007. And they had to have been under age 16. So those kids have DACA. Now, you probably know that DACA has been through the ringer and under the Trump administration. And so DACAs were not allowed to file any new applications because there are people who didn't file when they were supposed to, and then later said, okay, maybe I should make use of DACA. And so they were here and they never filed, but Trump prevented them from filing. Well, the district court said that they could now file, and they've been now filing since January. I have filed about 6 DACA applications since January. He allowed them to renew, but he would not allow new applications. Biden said he was going to fortify and create new pathways for DACA recipients. And so it's my understanding that DACAs are one of the groups of people who will be able to get green cards if the bill is passed. So as a DACA, you should look toward filing for a green card should this bill be passed. Now, Josie, when I was speaking earlier, I was speaking not of DACA, the people who came under age 18. This is another group of people, because if your child came in with you, for example, and your child was over 16, your child did not qualify for DACA. Your child could qualify for under a different program. You had to have been in the United States under age 18. They didn't give you a specific date of entry, but had to have been here under age 18. You finished high school or you completed a GED program, and then you went on to get to go to college, whether it's a 2-year college or a 4-year college or some other technical program, and you completed 2 years. Josie, Rosa, and all the listeners, those kids, young people, will be eligible for green cards in this country under the Biden program. Now, if you didn't go to college, but you did do your high school or your GED and you worked, if you worked 75% of the time, you are eligible for this green card as well. So if you came under age 18, you worked instead of going into the military or instead of going to college, and your work period was for 75% of the time, you can then also apply for this green card. So that's a big breakthrough for kids who did not go to college. Okay? All right. Now, there is also the group of kids who went into the military. And if they went into the military and they were honorably discharged, they too will qualify for a green card. Let me back up a little bit, Josie and Rosa, that if you are a DACA and you get this green card in the future, and you join the military, you are eligible for citizenship right after basic training. I need you to hear this. If your DACA child joined the military and they go through basic training, they will be eligible for citizenship after that basic training. All right? That's very important. Because once they're U.S. citizens, they can petition for other family members abroad. Okay, let us talk about.
How long, do you know
Yes.
how long that basic training takes?
Basic training is typically 8 weeks. Sometimes I think it goes on for 10, but my understanding is 8 to 10 weeks.
That's good.
That's good. And even and understand anybody who is in the military and they've gone through this basic training, they can apply for citizenship. And don't think that you have to be a 20-year-old to join the military. You have the Air Force, you have the Marines, you have the National Guard. They will take you in your 30s. So if you feel that, geez, I can, of course, be of service to my country, but then I can also petition for some loved ones, then go ahead and join the military and get that citizenship very quickly.
I think, Annette, that's important. A lot of people don't know that. A friend of mine just the other day was telling me, oh, now they are 35 and they wanted to join the military and now they don't think they can because they are over 35. So yeah, maybe you can emphasize that a little bit because I know.
Yes, there are two. I think the Air Force and definitely the Air Force is one. The National Guard is another, and perhaps the Navy. But I know at least 2 or 3 of those branches will allow you in your mid-30s and even above mid-30s. So do look into it if you're interested. And you don't have to be full-time. You can be part-time. Just keep that in mind and still qualify for that citizenship status. Now, Josie, may I talk about TPS?
Yes,
Temporary protected status. Okay. Now this is very big in the bill, right?
I'm getting a lot of general questions and I'm avoiding them on purpose for now. We are going to go back so that we can focus on today's topic, but I do have a few general questions so we can come back to.
Okay, Josie.
Yes.
You can also share our emails and our numbers so people can feel free to get in touch with us if their questions are not answered here.
Yes. Thank you, Rosa. So again, today, guys, we are talking about the new immigration changes at President Biden administration, and it seems like we're going to have a major overhaul of the immigration system, something we have been waiting for a long time. This could be a chance for many people to finally legalize their status. So please continue sharing, continue joining us, continue listening. Today with me, I have 2 guests. I have Annette and I have Rosa from Alabama, and they are attorneys, correct? They are attorneys.
Yes, correct.
So they'll be able to help you with your immigration questions, immigration filing. So let us continue, and thank you so much, our listeners.
Josie, if I may, and Rosa, if I may just recap that the LPI status is what you will get initially, and you just have to pay the filing fee, whatever penalties that you're required to pay. You must have entered the United States on or before January 1st, 2021, and you'll get a card that will allow you to travel and it will allow you to work, and you're required to pay taxes and keep that status for at least 5 years, and then you apply for the green card. Now, and of course, the big thing here is that you can travel. A lot of people are very happy to know that they can go back home, because a lot of people have had family members who died and they were not able to attend funerals, and they've missed their loved ones for so many years. I know immigration will break families up, and it happens. And this is an opportunity for you to reconnect with your family, to get this status if it's offered, and go back home, spend time with your family, and return to the United States. Now, I've had the question, Josie and Rosa, whether or not you have to be out of status. You know, that was a big question for many attorneys until we saw this bill. This bill is 400 plus pages long. And most of the bill deals with border security. Believe it or not, yes, majority of the bill is border security, and a big portion deals with the LPI, the lawful prospective immigrants, and that's a little less than a third of the bill. But it's a very important part of the bill. If a bill doesn't have these provisions as it relates to LPI, the bill is not going to be considered very successful because it would have omitted majority of the people in this country who so desperately need immigration reform. Okay, so let me talk about LPI. Before I talk about LPI, I have, TPS. Just so that you know, I have a lot of clients who are U visa applicants. You're a U visa applicant because you're the victim of a crime and you filed an application with immigration. Now, most of you have been waiting for maybe 4.5 years for the visa to be approved. It is not the fault of your attorney. It is just that there's so many applicants and visa numbers are not available. There are only 10,000 U visas issued a year. And Biden has now said he will increase that number from 10,000, I apologize, from 10,000 to 20,000. So if you believe that your 4.5 years will come in 2023, just know that in 2022, you're a lot closer to getting that U visa approved. All right. Now, this is something that I hear a lot, right? I haven't heard a question on this, but if, for example, we have Esther, we're going to use Esther as an example. If Esther qualifies for the LPI status and she files for it, and in another year or so, Esther meets a young man who's a green card holder, and she wants him to file for her. Is that a good thing since she is an LPI holder or LPI applicant? Well, I'm going to say yes, because LPI status will put you back in status. It's important to know that you are now currently in lawful status when you have LPI status. You are no longer considered illegal. So Esther can marry a green card holder because she's going to maintain that lawful status for 5 years. And so she and her LPR green card holder husband can go to the immigration 2 or so years later, because it takes about 2 years for the visa number to become available under that spouse, and get a green card. In other words, you do not have to stay in the LPI program for the entire 8 years. If there is something that can get you a green card sooner, step into the LPI program, legalize yourself, and then get a green card from there if it's faster. Okay? I hope you all understand that don't think because you're an LPI applicant, you have to remain in that program for the entire time. Something else can take you out if you can get your green card sooner. Something like a spouse or parent, a spouse or a child. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now let's talk about TPS. TPS, Temporary Protected Status. Now, Kenya is not in the TPS group, but you may know some individuals from these countries, from El Salvador, Honduras, Haiti, Nepal, Syria, Somalia, South Sudan, and Sudan. These individuals who have TPS, according to Biden, they will be given green cards under this program. So that's very important. Share the word. You know, I've been practicing, as I said, for 24 years. And in 2001, there was a little immigration change. And there are people who never knew of that change for many years after that. So I'm saying to you, pass the word on to your friend, to your neighbor. If they're from a TPS country, El Salvador, Honduras, Haiti, Nepal, Nicaragua, Syria, Somalia, South Sudan, and Sudan, they should be able to get green cards under this program. Now, Liberia and Venezuela, those are DED countries, deferred enforced departure countries, similar to TPS. And TPS countries are those countries that have had armed conflicts or natural disasters. Some of you may remember Haiti, when Haiti had the very bad earthquake and more than 200,000 people died. So Haitians have had TPS from then. So Haiti and Haitians can know if this program is successful, we'll be able to get green cards going forward. Okay? Agricultural workers, I want you to listen to this because I know there's some Kenyans in this field. If you're an agricultural worker, if you came into the United States as an agricultural worker and you work for 2,300 hours or 400 days, just a little more than a year, then you can qualify for a green card. It is also said that if you have a PhD, if you acquire a PhD in the United States, you also will be eligible for a green card in the United States. I'm telling you all of this to let you know that Biden has tried to encompass a large group of people. He has tried to encompass young children coming in under Daca, older children under 18, TPS holders, agricultural workers, as well as DED individuals, and the 11 million people. He's tried to include so many people in these programs. And if you fail in one program, let's say you went after a green card under the agricultural program and you fail, you always have that LPI group to fall back on. So that's something that you should keep in mind. When you look at immigration, look at different ways to get the green card. Look at different ways to achieve your goal. And if one fails, look at another. You can actually have two competing applications in with immigration at any given time, and whichever one gives you the better result or whichever one comes through faster, then that's the one you will accept.
Let me ask you, what if someone already has something like they made, let's say for example, they have an asylum, a pending asylum application, they are already here. Can they take advantage of this?
Yes. So, for example, I have a client from Ghana who just came in to see me, I think Thursday, and he had come into me some months before. He had a pending asylum case in New York. And, he and I talked and said, we should expect some changes with Biden. And so he came back again on Thursday because of the proposed Biden bill. And he said to me, would I qualify since I have a pending asylum application? And my answer to that is absolutely yes. And so we're all waiting with bated breath to see what happens with this bill because he will jump on this opportunity. Let me say this to you. Majority of asylum cases don't make it. I want you all to know that. Majority of asylum cases are not successful. Do not put all of your eggs in that asylum basket. Look more broadly. Look at other avenues for you to get relief in this country. Look for other avenues for you to progress, to get green cards and be on your way to citizenship. So generally what I do, though, Josie, is I tell the clients, do not withdraw your asylum application. You keep it until you find something else that you have that's better. Oftentimes what I do in my interviews with my clients, so they have an old application pending, and then we prepare another application under a different program. The officer will then say, would you like to withdraw your earlier application? and then we say yes, and we have to do a written withdrawal in front of them. But you don't want to do that too soon. You want to make sure that you are in a good position to get that green card under this new program.
Indeed, these are very great, big news, big news. I'm so excited because I know people who have been waiting for something like this, and finally I think they will get a break. So thank you so, so much, Annette. And
You're very welcome.
yeah, and what they need to, it's the cutoff is people who are here by January. Was it January 1st? Was it January?
January 1st, 2021.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's just the other day. So this is so good. So many
Now, let me
people.
say this. Let me say this to you,
Mhm.
Josie, that I have had calls for people who said, "I was there in America and then I left. Can I come back in?" All right. Well, we'll see if we can get them under the program that I mentioned earlier. If you were here for at least 3 years. Now, there's something that's very important in immigration law. If you have not left for more than 180 days, try to come back in. What that is telling the government is that you have not abandoned your home. If you're gone for 180 days, it is presumed that you've abandoned the United States. So if you can find a way to come back in, then you should try to do that. Okay. So I have an Indian client who texted me this morning and said, I'm leaving. I'm leaving on Monday evening to go back to India. Is anything new with immigration? So he has been waiting to see. And I said, nothing yet. I said, I checked under the pandemic bill to see maybe if they attach something, immigration benefit to it. I said, there is nothing. I said, but if you try to come back in the United States within 2.5 months, we could argue to immigration that you never left. You basically, and he left he's still in good status, by the way, so he's not self-deporting. If we can bring you back, if you can come back in 2.5 months to show them that your residence is America and you only went to India for a brief while, you have not broken your residency in America, you should qualify for this program. So if you have left and it's not yet 3 months, try to come back in as quickly as you can. If you cannot, we'll try to get you under another program, but you had to have been living in America for at least 3 years for that.
All right, I hope people are listening. Thank you so much. Our viewers and our listeners, we can see we have very many people following us on Facebook as well as on YouTube. We appreciate you. I don't know if we want us to move on to another topic or if I can maybe share some of the questions we have, of which some
Um,
are general in nature.
Josie, let me say this to you. All right, there are people who came to America under the K-1. You had to marry a particular person. There are people who are crew men who were on a ship and and the ship docked and they never got back on the ship. There are people who have J1 visas, J2 visas, and these are typically trainee type visas. And these visas are very special, and they actually require you to go back home. Now, there are no provisions that prevent these people from, from not taking advantage of the LPI status or LPI bill. So keep that in mind. Do not automatically rule yourself out because you didn't come here on a B1, B2.
Mhm.
If you're even current on your visa, I had someone from Rwanda that called me. He came on December 31st. He came in on December 31st, 2020, the day before the deadline. And he called me up and he said, do I qualify? And I said, I'm not seeing here where you don't qualify. They're very specific. If you came in on or before January 1st, 2021, anybody who came in to America after June or July, there's in status on the 21st, on the 1st of January. If you came in here in July, August, September, October, November, December, you are in status. And so the fact that they say January 1st, 2021, it indicates they're not blocking individuals or who are in status. Now, a lot of Kenyans come in as F1 students. I've gotten a lot of calls, right? And they want to know, do I qualify for the Biden program? Again, most of you, if you're in status as an F1, yes, you can qualify. There's nothing in this bill that says you do not qualify for the LPI, lawful prospective immigrant program. So keep that in mind. I've been getting a lot of calls. In fact, it blew up one of my lines, the number of calls that I've been getting in my office, and so we had to get that repaired and add two more lines. And I have sent to you, Joshi, all of my phone numbers that the clients can contact. And I'd like them when they call in to me to let me know that they heard about me through the program, through your program, so that I will properly designate the file as one of your listeners. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much.
I am. This is what I also would like the listeners to know is that I have created about 8 flyers from the beginning of this how should I say, the idea of the immigration reform. I had my first document was my expectations, and then my next document was Biden's actual proposed bill, and my third document was the actual bill. And I have created several flyers on the actual bill because it's a very big document. So I can't just simply do one flyer. I've created several flyers, and Josie, I have sent them to you, and feel free to pass those on as well. And there are more flyers that I will create that deal with, particularly with Central Americans. So we have been following this very, very closely. And the moment I get any new information on this proposed bill, we've actually created files for some of my callers. We've literally created files for them already. And they're the ones that we're following up with first. They will get new flyers sent to their emails, sent to their phones, so that they can, stay in touch with what's happening. Because I want people to understand. I want people to ask questions. I want people to talk with me and have nice, healthy discussions about immigration. Because nobody, absolutely nobody, should be left behind because they don't know.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much. And those flyers, it's true you shared to me, and they are very, very good, very well organized. All the information is there. So get in touch. We'll share with you that information. And of course, we appreciate you, Annette, for doing this for us. I think we can go to some of the questions that I have.
Yes.
Um, Someone says, what about those who were turned back at the airport, having been here severally in and out? By the way, Annette, this happens. So you come all the way from Kenya, you have all your papers, and you get to the airport. Maybe you had given a number and said, I'm going to visit this person or the other, and you get to the airport, they call the person. If the person doesn't pick up, there's a chance they will return you. And so a lot of people are facing
Mm,
this kind of a situation. Do you think they'll do something about it?
okay. So um, it depends. If that person had been in the United States before, let me back up a little bit. When they come to this country, they must advocate, right, for entry. Do not assume because you have a visa that you're going to be let in, especially under Trump. Now, I think things will change a little bit, right, under Biden. But under Trump, we know a lot of people were being turned back at the airport. If they've been here before, and and they were turned back. They need to try to reach someone at the airport while they're at the airport. And it would be good to be connected to, if you're, well, let your family members know that you're going to be calling, that you could be calling when you get to the immigration in the airport, so they can be ready. And I know there's a huge time difference, right? So these individuals need to be alert, need to be awake. They need to set their alarm to wake them up when they know you've arrived in America. And they should also have a backup number, right, for someone else, maybe a pastor, and I don't know if Rosa would like to assist them in that area. If she's able to do that, that would be good, or anybody else that she knows who could help them in terms of having someone to talk to. The immigration wants to talk to someone when they arrive at the airport. Okay, now, so a lot of this was happening during Trump's era. And as I said, I'm not expecting as much to happen now. But what I do know is that when they came in, a lot of people are trying to come in right after January 1st, 2021, when Biden announced his reform. Well, you just have to make the best argument that you can make to gain entry, right? Now, would that person qualify for the Biden program? It depends. They will qualify if they had been here before, right? If that person was here before and they're still there and decided, I'm not going to try to go to that airport, I'm not going to try to go in, let's try to bring that person back under a different program, under the Biden program, the one that says you lived here for 3 years and you left either self-deported or you were deported by Trump, and you have no criminal history, and you have family members, and it's in your best interest. You may have a medical condition and you need surgery, or you have great family unity, then we could try to bring you back. So we have to, Josie, look at the facts of these people's cases, and we'll have to find the best way to try to get them in the country. But tell your loved ones in Kenya, Tanzania, or anywhere else in the world, if you're coming in, make sure your contact here make sure that your contact in America is aware that you're here. Have a backup contact so that the ICE officer or you can talk to someone once you get into the United States. All right? Advocate for yourself. Try your very best to advocate.
Indeed,
Josie?
indeed.
Josie?
Yeah. Hello?
I have something to add on to that.
Yeah. Hold on. Give me a minute. Yes. Of course. And again, our listeners, today I have Annette and Rosa. Rosa, who was Chief of Staff for Mrs. William Ruto, the VP of Kenya, but now she lives here in Birmingham, and she is an associate of Annette, who is an attorney.
Yes.
So they are here
Yes.
together to help us with our immigration questions, especially concerning the changes that have come in with the new immigration with the new administration. Thank you.
Yes. Josie,
Yes.
when I first came into this country, I actually did my master's in law at the University of Alabama, and I took immigration law, so I know a lot about it. But let me tell you about the Kenyans that come here, and then you get to the port of entry and you're returned. So I have a friend. The son was living here, and he had lived here for 6 months, okay? And then he traveled back home and stayed for close to 3.5 weeks and was back at the port of entry. So they said, "What are you coming to do?" He said, "I'm coming to visit family." "And you live in Kenya?" "Yes." And then they said, "Bring your phone."
Mm-hmm.
So they checked his phone, and guess what? On his phone, he was working. There's a way you can work, but he was working, and his duties and his work schedule was there, and they just arrested him. So my advice to you, even the people that were listening from Kenya, and they're like, "Why are we listening and we're in Kenya?" You might visit here. If you visit here and you come and stay for the close to 6 months and you leave. Don't go back home and stay for 1 month and come back. You are red flagging yourself, because if you're really just visiting, why would you visit for 5.5 months and go back to your own home and stay for 1 week and come back? So you have to be very wise as you make those decisions.
Indeed,
All
very,
right.
very good advice, Rosa.
Now, let me tell you this, Josie. So they have to understand their ports of entry. They need to do their research, right? They need to do their research on the ports of entry. Some ports are harder than others. And, ports of entry, not necessarily airports. We have Mexico and we have Canada, right?
Mhm.
And so the best port of entry, they need to do their research and find the best ones and try to come in. And as Rosa said, they will check your phone. Absolutely. They will just expect them to check your phone. So make sure your phone is you will have information that's not inconsistent with your plans here in the United States. Okay?
All right, and thank you. I continue to appreciate our viewers and our listeners, both on YouTube and on Facebook. So many people listening to us, and we appreciate you so much. Somebody by the name of Prince is saying, any Kenyan who wants to come to USA, I have no place. I'll host for free. I was also hosted
Mm,
for free. So thank you so much. And
mm,
if you
Wow.
are like that and you want to host somebody, yeah, let us know,
Mm.
because we are
Yeah.
actually always have people in our inboxes who are asking, I want to come. Can you host me? Or okay, so if you are one of the people who is able, willing, and able to help someone, that is always very, very welcome news. Let me see. I think I had another question. If someone came with C1D visa, can she get status with married? I think they mean, can they get marriage visa uh, while they are here in the USA and they had come in with C1D?
no, that's a crewman visa, right? Remember, I mentioned the C1, D1s, Js, K1s. They have a special purpose in this country. For example, a K1, they're supposed to marry the person, their petitioner, within 90 days of entry into America. Even if you marry that person after that 90-day period, you're going to get immigration challenging you on this, right? They're very specific visas. J1s, they're typically trainees, right? And you're supposed to go back if there is a foreign residency requirement noted on your visa. It will be typed on that visa. It tells you you have to go back for 2 years, then you have to go back. See, cannot adjust status unless they're going through some sort of a, for lack of a better term, amnesty type program, right? And this one is similar to that. So the C1s can get the LPI, the J1s can get LPIs, the K1s can get LPIs. They have not um, excluded these groups. But getting married, you cannot get married directly. I would recommend if the LPI comes into being, this person who wants to marry, get in the LPI program and then become an LPI with lawful status. Then you marry the person of your dreams. Okay?
All right, all right. Thank you. On YouTube, we have so many people, and I also have more people saying they are willing to host people. So inbox us at Kenya
Wonderful.
Diaspora Media website. We have
Wonderful.
there our inbox. Someone will connect you with somebody who needs that help. Someone is asking on YouTube, how much does it cost to get there? Wow, that's a very general question. Maybe we can hold on to that. How much does it cost? Maybe we can talk about how much it, I don't know. Let's see.
Well,
I
Josie,
uh,
on that note, they
yes.
have not actually stated what the prices are going to be yet. Now, one thing I neglected to mention, and I truly apologize for this, is that there will be one application per family. Now, that's a wonderful thing because, I had at the beginning of this whole thing, I had a woman with 3 children and a husband come into my office and say to me, "How much do you think this is going to be?" I said, "I really don't know, but I would expect that it's going to be no less than $1,500 per person." And then she started adding the amount of people she had in her family. And she said, "I can't afford this. I can't afford the filing fee." Well, I have the good news. I called her once the bill, the proposed bill came out, and I said to her, "They're offering a family petition. We don't know the cost of it yet, but what I do know is that the filing fee for a work authorization is $410, and the travel document fee is $600. So that's $1,000. So there may be an additional $500 for the main application." So I tell my clients, try to have no less than $1,500 saved up for filing fees. And if there's a penalty, then of course we'll have to wait to see about that. Okay?
All right. Few questions here. Okay. Some are general comments. Please help me get a job there. And indeed, we've been doing shows on how, different paths that you can try and see if you can qualify, some kinds of jobs where maybe you can apply for a job before you come here. So those are kind of shows that we have brought in the past and will continue to bring to you. So we have our resources, our attorneys. So keep watching, keep checking our social media, and you'll find those videos. Uh, Someone says, please, can a Nigerian get help here? Of course, KDM is for everyone. If you're from Nigeria, any parts of the world, we are here for you. Indeed, we'll be sharing the numbers of our attorneys, and any one of you, regardless of where you come from, you will be able to get help. Someone says, kindly help my sister to come. I will cater. Okay. If we had a way, we would help. But what you can do is look at our shows and see what they might qualify for, both in US and Canada. Um, Someone says, my son came here with his 2 boys. I visited him, so he need to bring the wife. What can he do to bring the wife? So they are saying the son came here on, I think, December 31st, 2020,
Hmm.
with 2 boys.
Yeah.
I visited him. So he need to bring wife. Okay,
So
let's say someone is here and they want to bring wife. I'm trying to understand this
I
question.
know, I understand it, Josie.
Okay,
And
okay.
so the wife and the 2 children, I'm sorry, the husband and the 2 children appear to qualify for LPI. And they're going to be in America for 5 years before that wife can join, right? That is what he's saying. Yes, he knows he can visit. He knows the boys can visit their mother, but she's going to be out there for 5 long years. Um, Now, I would recommend for us to look at this more closely. I recall reading um, when Biden had put out his proposed bill, I recall reading something about trying to bring a family member in based upon humanitarian reasons. So we will follow that closely. If that person stays in touch with us, we will be certain to let them know whether or not there would be a special waiver that his wife could file for and arguing humanitarian reasons, family ties. Now she's left there in Kenya by herself, and her family will be here without her. So that is something that we need to actually take a closer look at.
Mhm.
Okay? So if he would stay in touch with us, we will keep him abreast of the law and any changes or anything that they could actually make use of.
Okay, indeed, we'll be sharing your contact so that whoever needs more specific help, legal help, they can get in touch with you. Someone is saying, can you please convert to us from Kenya shilling to Kenya shillings? That was their fees. Anyway, what I can tell you generally, we multiply by 100 to try and figure out how much that is in Kenya shillings. So if we say it's $100, just multiply by 100. 100, yes. So that's how we do it.
Just,
Yes.
I don't think Annette had spoken about the asylum and the VAWAs. Had you? Had you gotten there?
Okay, so
Let's
as
get
it
there.
would,
Let me finish this question, then we switch gear and talk about that. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you for reminding us. Someone says, I am a graduate with BA Economics, not employed for 5 years now. I am the only breadwinner for my family, and mom has cancer that. I am willing to take any kind of job, manual, even cleaning help. So, and we can't promise that we'll get a way for you to come, but you can definitely try. So we'll keep bringing you these migration shows, and we'll see. Yes. So let me check. That was YouTube. I haven't checked here on Facebook what's going on. Someone says, how long does it take to file for over 21 years children? A child who is over 21.
okay, so I can answer that very quickly. It generally takes about 8 years. So I generally ask the clients, can that child come into America on an F1 visa in the meantime? So you cannot do the green card first for that child, because if you do that green card for that child and he or she's trying to come here on an F1, they're going to prevent it, her or him, from coming because there's an application for a green card pending. So what you want to do is try to get that individual, that child, into America under a different category. And then once they get here, apply for the green card. So the waiting time won't be that long for that child being away from you, right? So get them in here on an F1, and they will be on the F1 program, doing undergraduate work, doing master's work, and then of course as soon as they get in on the F1, then you can file the green card application. Otherwise, and then they would have to stay out in Kenya or the foreign country for about 8 years, because that's the processing time. But let me say this to you. Biden has said he's going to reduce that waiting time for all of these applications, right?
Oh, wow.
So keep that in mind. We don't know what that reduction is going to be yet. So, I'm hopeful he will be able to knock off a couple of years off the waiting time on an application like this. The longest waiting time is our sibling applications, and that's 12 to 14 years. And I'm going to tell you many times that they have threatened to do away with the sibling application. So if you're a U.S. citizen and you want to petition for your brother or sister, I recommend don't wait. Do it before they get rid of it. But children, getting back again to that question, the waiting time is 8 years. If there's a way to get that child into America under an F1 student visa, or if that child has an IT background, ITs are typically easier to get into America with in the H-1B program. H-1B has been just really massacred by Trump, but Biden promised to bring that back so that child can come here on an H-1B visa, then that would be good. And then that child will come in, and then you can apply for the green card for that child once he or she comes in. And there is no conflict with an H-1B and a green card application for the parent. The H-1B is what we call a hybrid application. So you can come in with the intent of being temporary, or you can come in with the intent of trying to be permanent in the future, or you have no idea. It does not conflict with your parent filing a green card application for you.
Okay. Another question, is there a way to join military if you are already here? I think a lot of people don't know about military and how to go about it. I think when you're here, you can. Is that correct?
Yes, you can. Now they will put you through a battery of tests to make sure that physically, you qualify. So I would scout around and try to find a recruiter that is good with people, right? Because I've heard that there's some recruiters that don't do quite as well. And so if you can find one that will be that is more accommodating, so to speak, for lack of a better term, and try to make contact with that person so you can join the military. Remember, we said if you join the military and once you go through basic training, you can apply for citizenship, and it takes only a month or so to get that citizenship, and then you can apply for other family members.
Okay, I think we've been here for quite some time, so we are gonna try and sum up quickly. Rosa had suggested we talk about VAWA. Is VAWA affected by all these changes or not?
No, VAWA is not affected by it. Well, let me say this. I do a fair amount of VAWA cases. Now, under Trump's administration, the waiting time for VAWAs was about 2.5 years. I, in the past, have gotten VAWA. I remember I had a Tanzanian woman. I got her VAWA approved after 4 months. But under Trump, the waiting time for everyone was 2+ years. Now, Biden promises to reduce that waiting time. So I do not believe that it will be 2.5 years anymore under Biden. But of course, there is that backlog. So allow Biden to work his way through that somewhat, before you hold him responsible for not getting, VAWA done in a very, very short period of time. So I'm saying all of this VAWA is very good. It stands for Violence Against Women's Act. Now, men are beaten sometimes by women. I have done a fair share of my VAWA cases as it relates to men. And it's a very good way to get a green card. In terms of, oh my goodness, I'm not saying it's good to be beaten, but no, it is very well recognized in this country. And if that abuser is a U.S. citizen, you'll be able to get citizenship in 3 years after having your green card for 3 years. If your abuser is a green card holder, it will take 5 years to get that citizenship. If your abuser is none of the above, he or she's undocumented, you can always qualify for a U visa. Okay? Now, know that in the VAWA application, they do not contact the perpetrator. They do not contact them. So people are scared to make that report to immigration, thinking that, oh, they're going to call my husband. They're going to make contact with my husband. And then, that's not going to be good for me. No, they don't have to do that. In fact, they don't do that. Now, the U visa, right? If your abuser or the perpetrator is not a U.S. citizen or green card holder, you go to the U. But they will contact the abuser. Just know that under the U, they have to do that. Okay. All right. Now, I want to talk about two more things very quickly. I'm going to talk about asylum. So, let's talk very quickly about asylum. As I said, most asylum cases are not successful. The better asylum cases that I've seen are FGM, female genital mutilation cases. I've also seen change of religion to be very effective. Also, in
I think Annette is having a bit of technical issue. I think I lost her audio. So Let's wait a little bit so she can get back. I can see she's kind of frozen. So don't worry, we are still here. We're still here talking about immigration changes under the new President Biden. Let me see if I can get
Uh,
Annette back.
I can
Annette, do
hear
we have
you.
you? Okay, okay.
You have me. Thank you.
Yeah,
Very good.
good, good.
All right.
I think I had lost you for a second.
Okay. So we were talking about asylum.
Yes.
So the asylum categories that I see to be most effective are more successful are FGM, female genital mutilation, um, and change of religion, and change of your sexual orientation, that you fear persecution because your country doesn't believe in your choice, your preference, and because of that, you have seen where people have been killed, people have been injured. The government is well aware of it, and the government is not interested or capable of preventing it or protecting you. So those are the three areas of asylum that are being that I find to be the most effective. Ethnic reasons, and that's okay too, right? But one of the biggest things with asylum is that they ask you the question: could you not have moved and found a safe haven in your country? And if your answer to that question is that no, I didn't move, then they're thinking, but you came all the way to America. If you came all the way to America, then why couldn't you have moved 200 miles? Why couldn't you have moved 300 miles and be safe in your country? So there's always an argument that they make in contradiction to your story. And if you cannot satisfactorily respond to their issues or their questions, then you tend not to do so well in asylum. Okay? Let's talk very quickly about your entry into the United States. No, your application for a visa. Too many times I see clients come into the United States. They don't remember what they said on their applications for a visa. Oh, that is so important. You have to know everything that you said on those applications because they can come back to haunt you in the future. Um, so if you're married, if you said you're married when you got your visa, then immigration expects that you're still married in America. And if you're still married in America and you choose to marry someone else, immigration would then require that you get a divorce from your Kenyan spouse. You cannot say you're married at the embassy and then come here and marry someone else without a divorce in between. So you just have to remember your facts. You have to protect your case, right? You have to take charge of your case and know the facts of your case. It's very, very important. And your case didn't start when you made an application for marriage in America. Your case started when you approached the embassy for a visa. And you have to remember everything that you said. And they're going back to those records and they're trying to find fraud in those records. So it's important that you protect the record by noting the record, noting what you said, right? So when you come to America, you can continue with on in those on that line. Okay? I'm saying don't forget the facts. All right? And
Indeed,
because I've seen too many of
Annette,
that.
Annette, indeed, some of us learned the hard way because when you're there, you're just starting and you just want to get it over with. And like when you're getting your green card, you just do it so fast. just know it's gonna come back to haunt you if you forget anything. So for you who are just starting your case, don't lose anything. Remember what you put in your application, your first application. Anything, don't lose it. You're gonna need it, especially even in the last step when you try to become a citizen. So very, very important. Thank you, Annette.
Oh, okay. One more thing. I could talk about immigration all day long. Not only because I love immigration, but there's so much to share. All right. One thing that's important with immigration is consistency, right? You got to be consistent. I had a woman who said, I applied for a green card and I didn't say that I had children. And then I did the removal of the condition, the I-751. I still didn't say I had children. But then when I applied for citizenship, two children just popped up on the application. Okay, children just don't pop up. They may pop out, but they don't pop up. Okay? So I'm saying to you, you have to remember the facts, everything. Now, I know attorneys are not equal. There's nothing equal in life. There's absolutely nothing equal in life. Not even love. Love is never equal, okay? And we can have a discussion on that at another time. So there's nothing that's equal in life. But we have to remember the facts, and we have to carry your facts with you throughout your entire time. I say, you're not done with immigration until you are a U.S. citizen and until you have petitioned for everyone that you need to petition for. Otherwise, you're not done. You keep that immigration file forever, okay? And you go back to it, you look at your notes. Your children cannot fall off. If they were your children when you enter the country, they're your children until practically you die. They're your children until you're done with immigration. They're your children. They don't fall off the face of the earth. Okay? So remember all of that. Keep everything consistent. They do not like inconsistencies because if they see that you're inconsistent, they're going to say you are fraudulent. All right? We never want a fraud stamp on our record. Never ever want a fraud stamp. Right? Okay, so please seek the advice of an attorney. If you don't want to divulge your identity, just you can talk as a third party, as on behalf of a friend. I get that all the time, and I still advise people based upon the facts and based upon the law. So yes, take charge of your immigration. Pay attention to what's happening with the the Biden bill. Know that if you entered on or before January 1st, 2021, you have no one major felony, you have no three misdemeanors. That means you could have two, and that you can get LPI status. That's going to be good for 6 years. You can keep that status for 6 more years, but then I would recommend that you file for your green card after 5 years, okay? And if you came into the United States on a refugee program, you do not qualify for LPI. If you came into the United States and you had a green card and you lost it, you don't qualify for LPI. I should have mentioned that to you earlier. But there's so much to talk about. Do not feel that this is going to be our last conversation. I hope that Josie will bring me back once the bill passes, and we'll have a lot more to share with you. And feel free to call my office. Josie has about 5 phone numbers for me. She will share them with you. And when you call my office, I will ask you, or my staff will ask you, how were you referred to me? And we'll properly note the file that you were connected to me through Josie's program. And I thank you, Josie, for having me. I thank you, Rosa, for connecting me. As you know, I could talk about immigration until midnight.
Wow.
But Josie will not allow me to do that. Thank you.
Wow, you've been so kind to come, and we appreciate you indeed. It's very helpful, and we even appreciate that you're going to acknowledge when people come to you from KDM. So thank you for even offering that. We didn't ask you to say that, and yet you did. So thank you. Yeah, you can partner with us in many ways, and when this bill passes, we'll definitely come back and inform people. Do you mind answering a few more questions and then we're gonna get done?
Absolutely not. Please go ahead.
Okay. Someone by the name of Victor in YouTube is saying, I have a family member who has been waiting for an interview date for more than 2 years. Please advise.
Okay. All right. Now, are we talking about an interview for a green card based upon marriage, the 2-year green card? Are we talking about an interview for the 10-year green card? If Victor could tell you more about that, that would
Yes,
be helpful.
yes. Victor, please follow up with your question if you are able. And there's somebody by the name of Mina who is offering job to anyone in diaspora who need a job can talk to Mina. Get in touch with me, but he posted there on YouTube his number. Uh,
Yes, Josie,
yes,
I was thinking that the next time we come on here,
yes,
we can talk to the ones in Kenya about how to get here.
yes,
And Annette has mentioned a lot about how you can come here, but the gentleman offering jobs, it would be good for him to, talk to us and see what kind of jobs he's offering and if there are jobs that could help somebody immigrate, you know. So we can talk more one-on-one with the people, even those that are offering the jobs, so that we can come up with a process or a procedure that can help a lot of the Kenyans.
Okay, on
indeed.
that note, Rosa and Josie, you remember there was someone who said that it would, asked how long it would take for their child to come in. The child is over 21. And I said if there was a job here and the person was in the technical field, typically the technical field have jobs that are hard to fill in America. Okay, so for example, on the note of this person having jobs, if this young lady or young man in Kenya is maybe a college graduate and this person has a job that they could offer this person under an H-1B, under the H-1B program, then that would be very good. So this young person could come in and work for that person while the green card application is pending. So in other words, we can try to put our heads together and see how best we can help the immigrants coming in and the ones who are here who are looking for employment.
Mhm.
Wow.
And especially the nurses. The nurses right now are really needed, and not just here in Canada. Australia has locked up its borders. That's how they've been able to manage their COVID cases. But the UK, Canada, and here, we can talk, because if somebody has a nursing degree, they've been working as a nurse for more than 1 year, well, we can talk.
Yes, indeed. We need to get organized and see how we can help each other in those ways. So
Okay,
again,
let me go back to Victor just in case we don't hear back from him. Let me
yes,
try to answer that because I said under the Trump administration the waiting time was astronomical, and he purposefully slowed down these cases. For example, before Trump, the waiting time for work authorization was about 3 or 4 months. Under Trump, clients were lucky to get it at the interview stage, to get a work authorization before an interview. And Biden has promised, and he came out and made a proclamation the other day that green cards are now going to be issued. So he slowed it down. He did give green cards to people. That's Trump, right? But he did it in a very slow motion fashion, right? Biden is saying we're going to go back to normal. We're going to go back to the normal processing time. So the 2-year wait, he will probably expect to get a response from immigration very soon. What I would recommend for him to do is one, get the receipt for his application and go online and check to see what they're saying. If they said online the case has been released for an interview, then it is the office, it is the regional office that is not scheduling the interviews in a timely fashion. And the reason why that is happening, Josie, is because of the pandemic. Now, one of my offices is located right next to the Immigration Atlanta office, the Atlanta Immigration Office. And typically, when I go over there before the pandemic, we would have 250 people in the waiting room. Now, if I see 40 people, I'm seeing a lot. So, in other words, they have reduced the numbers significantly for social distancing reasons. They've literally moved away the chairs so that people will not be able to sit on them. They've only set out a certain number of chairs. So they cannot have too many people in the office at a time. But I see where they're trying to increase the numbers as we're going by and people are getting vaccinations. So I would say to Victor, be patient, but check your go online and check the status of the case and see what they're saying. If he's seeing that there's no interview scheduled or it's not in queue for an interview, he needs to set up an InfoPass appointment, right? And go into the immigration office and talk to them about that interview date. All right. So check the receipt, see what they're saying. If they're saying an interview, it is in queue to be scheduled, then he just needs to wait a little while. If it has been in queue for a long time, I would say 4 months and no interview has been scheduled, make an InfoPass appointment, and they will call him when he makes that InfoPass appointment. And if he doesn't answer his phone, they're not going to schedule him. So when you go online and you make the appointment, they will call you and to confirm that you have made the appointment. If you don't answer your phone, they're not going to schedule you for that appointment. So make the InfoPass appointment, answer your phone when immigration calls you, and go in there and talk to them about that interview date that you have not had. Okay?
Okay. Let me read a bunch of questions. If they are not valid, just skip and just see if there's any of these you would like to answer. Someone says, can someone apply green card through smartphone? Another one says, can I get someone to invite
No.
me? Wait, you can write it down. Can I get someone to invite me from Nigeria to the United States, please? Since I'm ready for the cost. And someone else says, we really appreciate three of you. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you. And someone says, my family have valid non-immigrant visas. Can they visit me? I am an asylee. Thank you. And someone says, please, can we now invite family to come? Okay. Someone says, when will they start calling people with pending asylum cases, especially those who have waited for 6 years? You can answer any of those.
Okay, well, the asylum one, it can go on forever, right? And remember what we said, if you qualify for LPI, it sounds like that person should qualify for LPI. They need to go ahead and get that LPI when it comes out and then make the decision later on if they're going to give up the asylum application or make an interview. If it goes well, listen to me, don't give it up. Go in for the interview. If you fail and you have LPI status, they can't put you in deportation. If you don't have LPI status or any other status and you fail, they will put you in deportation. When they say they're referring your case to the immigration court, it means they're putting you in deportation. That's all that means. So the 6 years wait is a long time. Yes. Again, on the Trump, what did we say on the Trump? Trump held back a lot of cases. In fact, Trump said under his administration, last in, first out. That meant anybody who filed asylum cases last were the ones to be heard first. So if you filed it many years ago, you're really at the bottom of the pile, okay? And Trump believed that he could do this because he could get rid of a lot of people very quickly before they even got work authorizations. So the wait is long, right? Make sure the person has work authorization. They're not sitting here for 6 years without a work authorization, because he or she qualified for that after 150 days of their case being pending. So your case pending for 150 days, get your work authorization under asylum, keep getting your work authorization. And if there is LPI that comes up, look at LPI. Do not pass it up. This is a great opportunity, because a lot of asylum cases are not quite as successful as you'd like them to be.
All right, all right. One more question. I don't know if it's a question because someone says, what about a pending adjustment of status? Is that a question?
What about it?
Yeah.
What about? There's so much I can say about it. There's so much I can say about adjustment of status. But let me talk about it for real. Marriage cases, be ready. Marriage cases, be ready. I don't know where they're calling from. If you're calling from a jurisdiction that will separate you right away when you go in for the interview, be ready, right? Don't take it for granted. Ask each other questions. What's your mother's name? What's your father's name? Where are you born? What city and country? Um, when did you come to America? What kind of visa did you have when you came to America? What side of the bed you sleep on? What's your favorite food, favorite color? Who was the last person to visit your home? Go through all these questions. These are real questions. So, when you're asking for this interview, you're saying you're ready. Please be ready.
All right. Thank you so much. Annette, I have to ask you this. So, what we've been talking about this immigration bill, it's not something that has passed, right?
That is correct.
And
It's
so I would like you to explain to our listeners, or do you even know what is the chance? What are the chances that this will get through? Because
very
otherwise,
good.
we are just talking.
Or Okay, so Josie, I had sent you a flyer on how to get this bill passed, right? Um, in order for this bill to pass normally in Congress, we need a supermajority, and we're not going to get a supermajority so easily. We may get supermajority on issues as it relates to TPS, meaning giving TPS holders green cards. For Daca, we may get a supermajority of the people of the senators and the House Rep members agreeing that DACA should get green cards. We're not going to get a supermajority agreeing that more than 11 million people should be on a path to citizenship. All right? The reality is it's not going to happen that way. Biden has to use the reconciliation process. Now, there is one reconciliation bill per year given to the president per year, and or that the Congress can use per year. And Trump didn't use his last year, so Biden has two. Biden has used one for the pandemic bill. We were hoping that he might have added some of the immigration provisions to that bill, but he did not. He says he's going to have an actual budget bill for the reconciliation process, and we believe that's what he's going to use to get the immigration bill through. Now, when you're using the budget reconciliation bill, it has to be a budget argument that you're making for the bill. It can't be, oh, well, geez, something that has no connection with the budget at all. Immigration closely ties to budget. Immigrants have been paying taxes in the billions of dollars, right? For only a couple million people, and you're paying billions of dollars in taxes to the government. And so that goes to the economy of the United States. Also, immigrants have been they pay filing fees, they pay penalties, right? And so when they ask you to pay a penalty in this LPI program, please do pay it, because that's a part of the argument that they probably would have used to get this bill passed, that America can make billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, if I may say so, from immigrants becoming regularized or from immigrants becoming legalized, that it will help, truly help the American economy. So how this budget reconciliation goes now, we just need a slim majority in both the House and in the Senate, and we already have that, right? Kamala Harris is a tiebreaker, and of course she's going to vote along party lines. She's going to vote along the Democrats. So if we have all of the Democratic senators in line with this bill, for example, Joe Manchin from West Virginia, who tends to be just a little more on the conservative side, if he stays with us, then I think we should get it through the Senate. And I think the same with the House. So this bill is going to creep up on us like almost like a thief in the night. It is not going to hang around for very long. Once they establish the bill that it's going to be attached to, then it will go through the process very quickly. The pandemic bill has been pending for about 2 weeks, right? And it was passed last night, I think Friday night. So, it goes through the system fairly quickly. So what we have to do, I'm going to encourage everyone to start just listening to the news a little more, paying attention. When you hear them talk about budget reconciliation, listen keenly, because that's the way I believe this bill is going to pass. When do we expect it to pass? If it does pass, sometime in March. Sometime, not very long, sometime in March, it's going to pass, if it's going to pass at all. Now, let me tell you something else, right? Very important, very, very important. I want you to stay with me on this for a little while. That even if this bill passes, according to the 400-page bill, it is going to be in an interim bill. It is going to be an interim bill, and that it would be finalized within 180 days. All right. So it doesn't mean that you're not going to get your LPI status, right? It means you can still get your LPI status, but they could come back and tweak it over 180 days. I am going to encourage you that as soon as this bill passes, file immediately. File immediately so that you can get that benefit before anything happens. All right? I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just trying to tell you that, we should have a different congressional makeup next year. And next year is a good time from now for this bill to be passed and for you to get your application in and start receiving the benefit. Okay? So do not delay in trying to get on board. So if it passes, for the sake of argument, between March and April of this year, and they don't have to create new forms for the applicants to file, then we could literally see applications being accepted in the early summer. If they have to create new forms, it will take a few months, quite a few months. And so that could be at the end of the summer or early into the fall before we can file. Now, according to the bill, we're going to be getting a card. Now, the only cards that immigration has produced are green cards and work authorization cards. So this is a new card that they would produce. So the infrastructure has to be there, the software has to be there for this card. I don't know how long it will take for them to create the infrastructure for the card, right, that they have to produce. So that needs to be, I have no idea. I'm going to be frank with you. I have no idea how long it will take for them to be able to produce this card. And this card is what you get as an LPI. Okay? So the takeaway from this today is, let's be prayerful, let's be hopeful, the ones who can contact their senators, please go ahead and do that so that the senators and the House Rep members know that we are in favor of this bill. Make your voice count as best as you can, and stay abreast of the news. And as soon as it passes, call me. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Very
Yes.
good. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. It seems these questions keep going. We can't finish all of them. But Victor did, remember Victor?
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember Victor.
yeah, Victor says it was, oh, did I lose him again? Victor, where are you? Victor, it was for a 10-year green card filed by his dad. It was,
Oh,
yeah,
green card filed by a dad. Oh, where's Victor calling, communicating with you from?
from YouTube.
No, no, no. Where is he located in the world?
I wouldn't know unless he says, Victor, you can let us know where you
Okay, because,
are.
all right, is Victor over 21 or under 21? You see, these are
Vic,
important questions. If Victor's under 21, right,
yes, yes.
and single, and his father is a U.S. citizen or a green card holder,
No,
he should be here in 2 years.
I don't
Hmm.
even think it's Victor. I think Victor is asking on behalf of somebody.
Okay, all
Oh,
right.
so let's get to original question. He says, I have a family member who has been waiting for an interview for more than 2 years. Please advise. And then he says it's for the for a green card. It was for 10-year
Father,
green card filed by his dad. So it's not Victor,
okay,
somebody.
right. So it depends on the beneficiary's age. How old is the beneficiary? Is the beneficiary under 21? Remember, we said over 21 is 8 years, right? Whether his father is a green card holder or a U.S. citizen, the waiting time is about 8 years. So it depends on the age, Victor's age. If Victor is under 21, then that green card should be 2 years, right? Remember, we also said that Trump had stopped people from migrating into the United States, right? And Biden said that he's going to reopen that. So Victor should be hopeful, all right?
All right. Do I qualify for LPI status if I'm on F1 visa? You can hold on to that because I think you've answered. And then Daudi says immigration through marriage denied 13 years ago. Case dismissed 2 years later. No response to revive. Have a clean 24-year record. What does this bill have for me?
Okay, so I would need to read his denial. If
Yes.
his marriage case was denied based upon fraud, then he and I would have to have some heart-to-heart conversations. If it was denied because of lack of evidence, LPI is wide open. If it was denied because of abandonment, because he didn't finish the case, LPI is wide open to him. All right? So it was denied for a reason. They give you a reason for denial. And he needs to share that reason with me in private.
Okay. We'll give their number, your number. What about those people having it? A green card holder. Okay, you guys need to write better, please, so it's easier for us to read. Because you say, what about those people having it? A green card holder, they need to file citizenship. Please explain. Thanks. Explain there. Thanks. Sorry, I didn't.
So they're a green card holder having to file for citizenship.
That,
It depends on how they got their green card. If
yeah.
they got the green card through marriage, the waiting time is 3 years, and they're still with that wife, right? They have to be with the spouse. I shouldn't say wife. So if they're still with the spouse and the marriage, and they've had the green card for 3 years, they can file for citizenship. Sometimes you can literally file 3 months before the 3 years. Some officers will accept it. Some will kick it back and say, wait for the full 3 years. If you got your green card through some other means, then it's typically 5 years. If you got it as a VAWA and the perpetrator of the crime against you is a U.S. citizen, you can get your green card after 3 years.
All
Your
right.
citizenship after 3 years. I apologize.
Okay. I think we've covered a lot of things. Rosa, we're back with you. Don't hide over there.
Okay, here I
If
am.
you, sorry for losing you for a while, but if you need to add anything, you're welcome. Again, today, guys, we are talking about new immigration changes as a result of the change in immigration in administration in the United States. So under Joe Biden, and that's why we are here to help you with my attorneys here ready to answer your questions. We've covered a lot of things. We've covered about what this new bill have for you as far as being able to legalize your status. Also about executive orders. Did we talk about all the executive orders that Joe Biden made, or at least
Okay, no.
mentioned majority of them?
Well, Josie,
Hmm.
when it comes to the asylum, previously you had to file within a year of arrival. But if
Yes,
that bill goes through, you can file even if it's after the 1 year. Right, Annette?
absolutely correct. Yes, that's a big one. Thank you, Rosa, for reminding me about that.
Mhm.
Okay, Josie, let me talk about very quickly the executive orders. Biden has ended the Trump Muslim ban. DACAs can now start applying. Um, TPS for Liberians is extended until June of 2022. He has asked the resumption of the processing of the visas abroad, right? So that's why Victor's friend is experiencing that, perhaps been experiencing that wait time because Trump had stopped processing those applications. And then the Trump border wall has been, the construction of it has been seized. So that is basically it for the executive orders under Biden.
All right. I think we have
I have a
covered.
flyer on that too, Josie. Feel free to send it to whoever wants the flyers.
Okay. So I'll share your numbers, your contact, in case people want to contact you. And of course, our listeners, you can also get in touch with me, and I'll be sure to refer you to Annette and Rosa. But I'll update your numbers right here if you share with me. Give me just a second. But I'm proud of everything we were able to cover today.
Mhm.
So let's see.
Josie,
Yes.
next time I will talk about diplomatic visas.
Oh, great.
Yeah, from Kenya, for the Kenyans that were like, this
Hmm.
is not relevant. It's very relevant.
Yes.
If they listen, they'll get something really important.
Annette, we'll do that, Rosa. And I'm waiting for Annette's phone number so I can share it with my listeners and my viewers.
Uh,
Just tell me, I'll type it.
okay, so I have five phone numbers, but
Just give
I'll
me
give
the
you
main one.
the main one.
Yes.
Okay, 770
Uh-huh.
491
Mm-hmm.
1411.
And where are you located? What state again? I know you had said.
I have two offices, one in Atlanta and one in Birmingham. That is the
Ah,
Atlanta phone number. Yes.
okay. So with this number, we'll be able to reach you. And of course, they can always also reach us through KDM. I know people continue watching this in our social media, on our Facebook and our YouTube. So we'll keep looking for those messages, and we'll be sure to forward those messages to you and questions. So otherwise, I
Josie,
appreciate you guys. Yes,
Josie,
yes.
excuse
And
me, Josie,
Rosa,
what
yes.
about the email? What about the
Sure,
email?
sure. Give me the
Annette,
email.
A as in Apple,
Mm-hmm,
King, King,
mm-hmm,
ham, like the ham that you eat at Christmas time,
mm-hmm.
at bellsouth.net.
Did I get it? Hold on.
Yes.
There.
Yes.
You have.
All right.
Very good.
This was a very good time. I enjoyed. I also learned a lot, and I really, really do appreciate our viewers and our listeners who are very engaged, and so many of them. So we say thank you until next time. I'll let you say your last words, and then we are gonna end the show there.
Josie, did you put my number there?
If you want me, I'm putting what you guys are giving me. So,
Oh, yes, you need to
but
put my number.
okay,
Yes. Just Rosa Nandwa.
hold on. So that was so these numbers will be there even when we are done with the show. So I'll overwrite
Yes.
that, and now I'll give Rosa's number
Mm-hmm.
because if I fit all of them, they won't fit in there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And what's the number?
205
205
835
835
01
01
37.
37. And I see you are in our headquarters, Birmingham. So go there and see our new studios. So we wanna hear a lot of you. We wanna,
Okay, I will go there.
yes. So and also your email.
Roselyne Nandwa. ROS.
Oh.
You missed SALYN. Then N.
Oh.
No, you missed another N. Double N's up there. Yes. And then A. Sorry.
No.
Yeah. A-N.
No.
No, another N after the A.
A-N.
Yes, DWA. At yahoo.com.
Roselyne Nandwa at yahoo.com.
Now, how do you spell Roselyne, Rosa?
With an Rosalyn.
Okay, so she it's an E. She has
it's
an E.
A, not an E. Can you replace the E the E with an A?
She has it there now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you for that, Annette.
Yes. So you guys, you have those numbers in there. Get in touch with them, and they will let us know when they get referral from here. And I'll be following up, see how we can work together, how we can. We are a non-profit, and we help immigrants with issues like this and many other programs. So I hope you'll be checking our YouTube. We help so many people, and we are happy to have you.
Well,
And I'm
thanks
sure
for having me and Annette. If you need people if there are people that don't understand English and they need Swahili, I can always do that whenever we are on. And I will for sure visit the Birmingham offices.
Yes, please do. Yes, please do. And actually, Rosa, I was the reason we are doing an interview with you is because you were referred to me by my pastor, Pastor Paul from St. Louis, Missouri. So thank you, Pastor Paul, if you are there, if you are listening, for bringing Rosa, making this connection.
Yes, Pastor Paul, if you're there, I salute you and I thank you. God bless you.
And of course, we can't forget that Rosa used to be the chief of staff of Mrs. William Ruto, the VP of Kenya.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thank you so much.
Naam, wakati ni sasa. Kwa muda mrefu umetupa sikio lako tukujuza na kukuburudisha kutoka Asia, Ulaya, mataifa ya Uarabu, Afrika, Canada, Marekani na dunia kote. Tumetamba kukutamba. Sasa Kenya Diaspora Media tunapanua mipaka kukuletea utangazaji na burudani isiyo kifani kwa lugha za Kikuyu, Kiswahili na Kiingereza kwa njia ya utendeti. Ungana nasi kupitia mtandao wa Facebook ama tovuti ya www.kenyadiasporamedia.com. kenya.diaspora.com ama udownload app kutoka Play Store Kenya Diaspora Media. Pia unaweza piga simu kupitia 205-905-640 kusikiliza. Kenya Diaspora Media, the community pillar.